morning. I'm Leroy McFall Sr. and I'm in my home studio here in Huntsville, Alabama. And this morning I'm working on another home studio YouTube. And what I'd like to explain to people that home studios are not just a hobby. They can be a serious proposition that you get into, and I'm sure when YouTube, the people decide to design YouTube, had put it together, spending the money they had to develop computer programs and also information, maintain it over the years, that it was serious to them. Now, there is I've found in my past that a lot of people will try to define work as something that they make money at. However, work of making YouTubes doesn't necessarily mean that you're working to make money. You may be doing it for pleasure or the of feeling that you're doing something that other people might enjoy. It's no more defined. Money doesn't necessarily define work any more than a mother that loves to bake, that might be considered as her hobby instead of it being a form of work. So what I'm going to do is try to open this or go through this particular YouTube discussing the in and outs of actually putting a YouTube together. Mine is primarily music, if not instrumentals, on my non-pedal steel guitar. Now, the reason I play the non-pedal, I started playing right after World War II. My father was in the Navy. He was in Pearl Harbor, enjoyed the Hawaiian steel guitar music, got home and wanted his son to play the steel guitar. I couldn't do a hula, so I guess that was out of the question. If I did, I probably wouldn't look that well. I tried a grass skirt one time and that was out the door. So, but anyway, getting back to the non-pedal steel guitar, lately the pedal steel guitar is the influence, and a lot of people consider the non-pedal as a toy. Now, you got to remember that people playing the steel guitar, playing an instrument, they're mostly doing it a lot of times for their living, to make money. So maybe that's considered a viable reason to like that sound better over than another sound. But if you have to realize too that until the non-pedal come in, the steel guitar was being used as a primary source of backup for not only Hawaiian music, but also traditional country music. Now, just because the pedal steel is dominating the backup for traditional country music now, and it is a good sound, I love the sound, that doesn't negate the fact that a non-pedal is still a serious and an instrument that can make and help out in the production of traditional country music. So I'll get off of my podium here and we'll get into actually doing a production, maybe outlining what we need to do to make a YouTube, and hopefully we make YouTubes that other people want to watch. Thank you for watching. My YouTubes usually start with me playing a tune, finally getting my song down and working out the details on it on my Fender 1957 Fender D8 non-pedal steel guitar. I pumped that through a studio speaker, which is through another piece of equipment to start with. This piece of equipment is a recorder. It's a Tascam DP006 recorder. I have 4 channels in it, which is more than sufficient for me to do my initial playing. So from that point I can run it through all kinds of instrumentation. What I have connected in between this and the speaker now is a Fab 600 ms delay. And I can get a little delay in that. I don't get the reverb I used to get in to a lot of my older equipment, but it suffices right now until I can find a better piece of equipment to use. Now from that point, I pump into a speaker, my studio speaker, which gives me plenty good sound and volume and picks up the notes well. If I'm doing any voice work, I use a blue microphone, and the blue microphone is a good microphone that gives me a lot of good opportunities to use it for different types of sessions. It's a microphone specifically built to be plugged into the computer. My computer that I use for doing practice sessions or starting in preparation of doing a tune is a HP laptop, so it's relatively cheap and easy to hook up. Now once I get my tune recorded and put back into the way I want to download it into my studios, I can interconnect it with this setup here I have in this console, and basically it's another HP laptop that I've got connected with an interface. I use an audio box interface, one of the smaller interfaces that I have. I have an additional interface that I use over in my other area, and it's a more complex interface. It's a good interface, but it's an audio box too, and I've used it for years. Audio box, USB interface. So basically I've got a very simple little home studio set up. Home studios can be rather easy to set up now and affordable, and it's not like the studios when I first started in this music in 1948 that if you went into a studio, took up a lot of real estate, had a lot of complicated equipment, and of course it still can be very complicated.